Not bad for a December day. I do talk about the weather quite a bit, don't I? So today, we're gonna heft some hives. Heft some hives? Yep, heft some hives. I was talking to one of the people I'm mentoring and said, hey, it's like mid-December, actually it's late December now. We got to go out and heft some hives. And they looked at me and kind of cocked their head and said, heft some hives? And I said, yeah, it's like, let's get a good idea of where the bees are at with their stores for the year. We're going to talk today about basically picking up the back of your hives and getting a good idea of how much food stores are still in. It's kind of critical. Light hives are going to need a lot of food. You got to get it on right away. There may be some hives that are heavy enough that's like, you know what, I probably don't even need to put a candy board on. There's two different ways we're going to do this today. I'm going to show you the basic grab onto a hive and pick it up method, which is a good one, and it's one that I used for years until I got a luggage weigher. You may have seen this in a couple of my previous videos that basically it's a scale that weighs luggage, but it works great by attaching to the back of a hive and lifting up and tells you exactly how much is in there. So we're going to show you that as well. A couple quick things to talk about related to hefting hives. I know my demographics, and I am the demographic of most of you guys that are out there watching, so I do appreciate that. But I also appreciate the fact that I want to stay healthy, and I also appreciate the fact that these things are heavy. So a couple of things that we're going to talk about as we go along is the fact that you need to be careful when you lift, and I'll show you some proper leg lifting techniques. You don't want to hurt your backs. It's really easy to just reach down and feel like you can pick up. Don't do that. Another thing that's pretty important is, even though it's kind of chilly out, I think we're about 50, not many bees flying because it's cloudy today, but I still wear a veil. Reason for that is I was surprised one time doing this without a veil on, and bees flooded out the front. It wasn't pretty. I didn't really get stung a lot, a couple times in places that don't hurt so much, but I wear a veil just for safety, and a little bit of extra safety doesn't hurt sometimes. So let's get on with it. We're going to talk about how we heft hives. So the heft on your own method without a weighing device is pretty simple. And all you're really going to do is get to the back of your hive and lift it up. Here's one handy hint though, no sense lifting extra stuff. But I pretty much leave everything as is. And the reason for that is because I know that this whole unit, including bees and top, empty, is going to weigh someplace around 30 to 35 pounds. So then when I weigh it out eventually, I'm going to know how much that weighs. But I also know about what 35 pounds feels like, and as long as it feels a heck of a lot heavier than that, then I'm doing pretty good if I'm using the heft only method. So what you want to do, you want to be able to grab somewhere in the back. I can really grab right here and lift, and that will give me about what I need to know. You only need to lift about the width of this. You're going to know exactly what you got going when you are lifting this up. So let's reach down and let's make that happen. Okay, lift with your legs. Get behind the hive and lift with the legs and go. Oh my God, that's heavy. Okay, that's all you need to do. Just that little amount. It will tell you what you need. And we come to the next one. So if you have multiple hives, which if you don't have multiple hives, lifting one hive isn't going to tell you a whole lot, because as you go down the line, you're able to tell lighter hives than heavier hives because you just lifted them. So I know what that felt like. Now I'm going to go to this hive and see what this feels like. Take the rock off. And, oh, equally as heavy. Okay, same thing down here. Oh my God, that's even heavier. Whoop, take the rock off. Oh, that guy's even heavier. So all three of these hives way over 35 pounds. Way over that. So feeling good. Now we're going to weigh it out. So this is the weight unit that I have. Now it works pretty simply. It's just a matter of turn it on. We're going to use pounds, not kilograms. And then what am I doing with the pen? I write the number on it. That way I know when I come back again in maybe a few weeks or a month, I know how much more food they've consumed in that time period. So here we go. This has a small hook on the end of it, and that hook is going to go underneath. I'm going to take this off, which will give me a little bit more view, and that hook is going to go just underneath this lip. And if you need to, I have actually seen people drill and put some sort of actually an eye hook that's wide enough to hold this into the back of their hive will also work for you. I'm using screen bottom boards. I've got a West beetle tray in there, so it looks like it's closed off, but it's not. I can still lift here. So we have it on pounds, put the hook on the bottom, zero it, and then, again, we're gonna use our legs, we're gonna lift. And I'm gonna call that 55. 55, that means that I've got somewhere around 25 pounds of honey still left in this hive, which is making me feel pretty good. 25, 20, and really that means I've got plenty to get through probably the next 2 or 3 weeks. Things are gonna get cold. I'm using condensing hives. They're gonna hunker down and probably not use as much energy. So I'm gonna be in pretty good shape on that. So they're good for now. I am feeling pretty good about that. They will get a candy board when I get back from the Honeybee Expo in Louisville this weekend, which is, if you have the opportunity to go, definitely go, because the amount of education that you get out of it is phenomenal. Okay, so now we're gonna lift this again and see what we get. Oh, 62 we're going with. I said that was a heavy hive, and I could feel it, 62. And it's like, Dave, are you concerned that you've got 7 pounds less than this? Not so much, because this hive was really pretty small going into the winter. And when I say small, they're plenty healthy enough to get through, but there's just not as many bees in this hive as there is in this. So I'm feeling pretty good about where we're at with that. Okay, last hive that I'm gonna show you, but I am going down the line. I'm gonna get all these done. It only takes a few minutes, but it's really worth it so you know what's going on with your hives. If I weighed that with that rock on, yeah, we'll go with it. It's not always a perfect world. Okay, 0, lift. I'm gonna go about 57, 58 on that. Put our spacer back on and feel pretty good. So here's something important to remember. And so a lot of you out there, it's like, whoa, I've heard that you need 80 pounds of honey to get through the winter. Remember, these are single deeps. So with that being said, that's how much is in a single deep. So we're talking somewhere in the neighborhood of 30 to 35 pounds of honey in that single deep. That's a lot of honey for a single deep. So that's why it's like, wow, that's pretty tough to get through. No, there's just not as much space. Everybody's gonna probably get candy boards as I'm looking at it. But as they sit right now, I'm in pretty good shape. Let me get this off for just a second. So that's how you call the bees. So not really complex, a pretty simple thing to do, but I recognize the fact that people think heft a hive, and why is it important? It is because it gives you an idea of where your bees are at. If I had one out here that's like crazy light, I'm probably running home today when it's still in the 50s and popping these open and putting a candy board on, just so that they don't go hungry. That's the main objective. You want to keep your bees happy, healthy, and fed through the winter. Hefting the hive's a way to do that. So pretty simple today, mostly obviously for beginners, but just want to be able to educate where I can. Again, thank you for watching. If you haven't subscribed, please do. We're really working on getting up to that 1,000 mark, and we're close. So I'd appreciate that. Subscribe if you would, and Happy New Year. You guys take care, and we'll see you next time.